Mr. Suresh Prabhu.
Sir.
Welcome. Yeah, we will come.
Our country got political freedom at midnight. We are all very happy. We thought now we have our own government which is going to look after our own interest. But we lost our economic freedom on that fateful night when 30% increase in oil prices have really taken away this economic freedom of people. There has been tremendous holes in the family budget of so many common people. Unfortunately, some of the honorable members are not even sensitive to this reality, and that's why they are saying how the increase in kerosene, how the increase in petroleum products is going to affect the common man. The increase in the vegetable prices alone, as reported today in today's newspaper, itself is a testimony to the fact that persons who are really paying for it is none other than this common man. This increase was very shocking for the simple reason because the farmers, the laborers, the toiling masses were feeling that no such rise could ever take place because the protector of their interests are now in the government. They always thought that so far those who have been really taking away the rights are now out of power, and now the common man's protectors are now governing the country, and hence no such price could ever take place. But I am really surprised that such a price rise never ever in the history of India has really taken place at one stroke. Sir, this 10,000 crore rise is more, probably 4,000 crores more by the annual budget of even the annual plan of the Maharashtra state, which is supposed to be one of the most prosperous states in the country. Such rise can take place even without any sanction of any parliamentary measure is something which is really amazing, of which we already spoken yesterday. I would not like to repeat that point once more. The cascading effect of this is already felt not only at marketplace, but probably no sector is now away from this cascading effect, and I really feel that this rise has to be immediately withdrawn forthwith. One of our honorable member from Congress party, Dr. Pal, has said that he is really interested to make sure that the government doesn't fall. Probably such burden of protecting the government does not lie on our shoulders, and that's why I would like to demand that whether the government falls or not, the prices must really fall with immediate effect. We have been told that the international prices have got some bearing on all these domestic prices of the petroleum products which the common man pays. We have always been told that particularly the late 90s or the early 90s have witnessed that the international oil prices, the crude oil prices have been falling. If there is a sympathetic rise in international prices when it takes place in domestic price, why was it not reduced when the international prices were falling? Why domestic prices always were kept, if not lower, if not more, if at the same price, when the international prices were falling, is something which needs to be explained. This mystery about oil pool account also needs to be explained to the Parliament in full detail. There are several measures of reducing this deficit from oil pool account. One of the measures is to bring about more efficiency in these oil purchases. We have always been paying probably not, there have been instances which have been quoted even in this consultative committee of Parliament for Petroleum Ministry, that there have been instances where we have purchased petroleum products at probably the crude oil at probably more price than what was prevailing in the market, and probably the purchasing policy was not in consonance with what should have been done by, say, probably any other person who was keeping the national interest at heart. We are also surprised for a simple reason, is because when the previous Congress government fell, there was already a deficit in oil pool account close to 6,000 crores. So we were told that there is no secret understanding between the party which was supporting the present United Front government. So we were knowing that they will also make public this secret of how to keep the oil pool account in deficit, at the same time not to increase the prices. Probably this understanding has not reached the present government, and as a result of which they were forced to increase the prices. And probably I would request the Congress now to pass on this know-how to the present government, so probably they can roll back the prices to the old level. We have been also told by the Petroleum Secretary when he announced this price rise, that this is aimed, the so-called proclaimed objectives of bringing about this rise, is because to discourage the consumption of this item, which is putting severe strain on nation's precious foreign exchange reserves. If this is the proclaimed objective, it is not a way in which it should have been done, but probably it should have been done by reducing the use of the petroleum products in the country, for which no measures have so far been announced. Would like to know from the government as to how much of this bill of the total petroleum products is borne by the government itself, and how many vehicles of the government really pay for this additional expenditure which the common man has to bear, and what measures the government is initiating to reduce these prices. We have also the right to know that each barrel of oil that we import is not necessarily at international price as has been, if the evidence has been given before the ministry, consultative committee for the ministry. We also have the right to know what is the cost of per barrel of crude oil produced in the country through our natural exploration programs of the government. We feel that we really have to have a national policy on this, because a day is not far off. Today we are paying almost, my friend said it is almost 20%, but I really feel it is much more than that. Our total foreign exchange earnings out of exports, almost close to 30% goes into paying for these products through imports. So unless we really devise a policy, otherwise maybe a day is not far off when our domestic reserves of oil would be dried away. At the same time, we may not have enough money to pay for this. So it's really a need to bring about some sort of a policy as to how this consumption is going to be reduced, and for that there is no need to burden the common man with this high rise. The people who are really going to pay for it are the farmers, the poor laborers, the toiling masses, whose interest is supposed to be protected by the sovereign house. And I'm sure the government will pay heed to these demands and will definitely bring about a reduction in prices. I was also hoping that this government, in this common minimum program, has said that only interest of the common man will be protected, and probably there could not have been a better way of saying that we really don't care for you. But I'm sure there are very illustrious people sitting in Congress party as well as in the left parties who are supporting the government from outside. So they will definitely prevail on this government, because if their views are not heeded, probably I'm sure they would certainly like to suggest another way. Thank you.